Oh, it's working. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Stacey Delaney, and actually, I work here at Taboola. So I didn't have far to come, and I have spoken on this stage before, but not at Be Bold now. And what I'm going to talk to you today about is inclusive leadership and the ripple effect that that can have. Now, there was a really tough crowd to follow, but you talked about something that I'm going to talk about too, which is representation, which we'll hear come up. But just wanted to get a little bit of audience participation at the start, and I wanted you to raise your hand if you have a friend, a family member, a colleague, someone that's very close to you that identifies as LGBTQ+. So that means that they might have a sexual orientation of something that's not straight. They could be transgender, they could be non-binary, they could be gender fluid. Come on, be brave, be brave. Yeah, exactly. So we all know someone that's in this community. Now, would it surprise you to know that about 40% of people hide their identity if they're in this community because of fear of repercussions, of being critiqued or discriminated against? So if you think about all your loved ones, about half of those people that you just put your hand up for are not open about their identity to everyone. So Nikki asked me, is there progress in this space? So yes, there is. So I'm specifically interested in people being out in the workplace. And around 84% of people that identify as LGBTQ+ are out to at least one person at work, according to Equality Rising, and that's up from 54% in 2018. But there's still a long way to go, right? There's still a lot of people that are not feeling safe to be themselves. And 85% of people, according to Pride in Leadership, 85% of people in this community face career obstacles, including being passed up for promotions. Now, you might have heard in the press that there was a really big change a couple of weeks ago that dramatically affected the rights of transgender people in the UK. So the Supreme Court ruled that the legal definition of being a woman is someone that was born woman as a sex at birth, basically, biological sex. And so if you are in the queer community right now, especially if you're in the trans community, you might not feel totally safe being in the UK right now, and certainly being open about yourself at work. So now my story. So I am a member of the queer community. I'm a bisexual woman. And to tell you a little bit about myself, so I was not always comfortable with my own sexual orientation. It took me a long time to work out who I was. And I didn't want to be in the community. I didn't want it to be gay, lesbian, bi, whatever it was. I wanted to be straight like all the other girls. And it took me quite a long time to really work out who I was. And I think one of the things is representation. I didn't see a lot of people like me out there, and I didn't have a label for what I was, essentially. And I started to come out, practice coming out between the ages of about 21 to 24. And it was not a nice experience for me. I felt a lot of shame about who I was. And when someone maybe didn't respond in a positive way to that, it just pushed me back in the closet, okay? So I really had a difficult journey, and it took me probably longer than many other people in order to work out who I was and then to be open and honest about who I was and comfortable with it, right? And I'm comfortable with it now, by the way. I'm here talking to you on stage, which is good. I'm a little bit older than 24 now, yeah. But then also looking at my work journey as well, right? So this is all to say I just got a lot of baggage, right? A lot of baggage about who I was. And so when I was at work, I would conveniently admit that we at the weekend meant me and my wife or me and my girlfriend. And I felt really uncomfortable being out at work to certain people. I was out to some people and others I didn't feel safe to be out. I worked in commercial roles, and I specifically was scared of being out to clients. What if they don't want to do business with me? What if they're going to judge me, for example? And I don't know, I come out a lot. A lot of queer people have to come out a lot. It's not obvious that you're in the community. The thing that I get asked all the time is, what does your husband do? I find this to be an archaic kind of question anyway. What does your husband do? And each time that happens, I have to sort of decide, am I going to say I've got a wife? Do I feel safe to come out to you right now? Sometimes I'm in the back of a cab, right? I'm not really feeling safe to come out. Once I was having a massage. I had an amazing masseuse, and they asked me, and I was like, I really don't know what their views are. What if they don't want to massage me after I tell them? Am I going to tell them or not? What if they break my neck? So anyway, Um, so having to cut, yeah, okay, maybe that was extreme. Thanks, thanks, Gail. It's all it's unhelpful things that are going through my mind. So anyway, at work at Taboola, a few years ago, we started to ride the wave of diversity, equity, inclusion, and a lot of employee resource groups got formed from the grassroots. Some amazing communities that are still really thriving here, and no one put their hand forward to organise one for the queer community. And I was like, I'm not doing it. Like I was not out and proud. I was out at work, but I didn't ever see myself running the community. But ultimately, I was bold and I got over myself. And I thought, I'm a leader in this business. I can't allow this community to be unseen and unrepresented. And I think the reason why I struggled with my own journey was that, like I say, I didn't see other people like me. And I thought, well, if I start this thing, maybe other people in the community will feel safer, they will see people thriving, and we'll just get the conversation on the agenda. So I formed the employee resource group, Taboola Pride. There's some swag somewhere, by the way, some rainbowy things somewhere for you if you like, probably over there. And I formed it with a colleague in the US, Dave, and we launched the program in 4 continents. And we found leaders in each area. And we just started talking about the queer experience at work and in life. And that was, as you can imagine, organising panels, speaking at events, posting on social media. And it was honestly terrifying to talk about my own sexual orientation. I've done it on this stage a few times, right? Probably cried here as well. And I talk about marketing and data and customer acquisition all the time, but actually talking to people about something so personal was so scary, because you don't know whether someone will judge you or whatever it might be. And especially posting on social media about it. So the reason I'm here is Joanna asked me to speak because she saw something I posted on social about coming out day, which was to come out for all the people that couldn't, because I'm in a privileged position, right? What have I got to lose? I'm already a senior person in this company, but lots of other people wouldn't feel safe. Even though it's scary for me to talk about that in these forums, I always do it, because every single time I do speak up, afterwards someone come and speak to me and they're like, I'm actually in the community, I'm not out, or now I am out, but now I feel more seen. And but also, like, you all put your hand up at the start. You're not all in the community, but you're allies, of course. But it touches so many people, and that's the ripple effect, right? So I have people come up to me and they're like, I know how to speak to my trans cousin now, my gay brother, my parent, or whatever it might be. And the best story that someone told me is that we organised this Pride panel, and it was like, what does LGBTQ plus mean? What is transgender? Like, back to basics, basically. And one of the senior leaders at the company, she said to me, last night after your panel, I went back home, and at the dinner table with my husband and my 3 kids, we talked about what I learned. We talked about sexual orientation, gender identity, and we just had a judgment-free conversation. And I was like, what a household, what a woman. But like, what an amazing thing to have happened. And that's when I realized the ripple effect of the stories that you can tell. And so in terms of queer inclusion, like, there's all the stats to say, you probably know this, but in terms of like the impact of brands including queer people in their ads, for example, has a really big impact on what you will ultimately buy. 3 out of 4 LGBTQ plus themed ads outperform generic ads in driving brand recall. People buy from brands that support this community, and that's because, look at you all. I don't think anyone didn't put their hand up. It's because everyone knows someone, right? So what was I going to say to you? Right, 3 things you can do. Okay, first one is when you maybe hear people sharing a really interesting, well, first of all, stories really resonate with people, and being authentic, I think, really resonates with people. So I would think about yourself. You might have, everyone's got their thing, right? I don't know what your thing is. You know what my thing is. But think about telling your story. Think about just being yourself. Maybe that's the first one. Be yourself. Be yourself, and know and understand that when you tell your stories to other people, it can really make an impact beyond just that little bit of time that you give. when you hear other amazing stories, amplify them, tell other people about them. I talked to you about my colleague who went home and spoke to her kids about what she'd learned, and they probably feel in a much more comfortable way to be themselves now. And finally, sponsor other people, sponsor people that are putting their hand up and doing this thing. Thank them. It can be stressful for them to be change makers. Yes, that's my three tips. And that's a wrap. Thank you very much for listening. And you can follow me there if you like.
Thank you so much, Stacey. Can I give you that for a minute?